bonus chocolate cake and cherry pie for the first person to unhook that pup back there and pull it to the cabin for me. I could have made 2 trips to bring all this stuff into the cabin, but bringing that wagon back there, my plans for that are I think it'll slip through the door so I can pull my firewood in and load my wood box without having to swing the door back and forth all the time. This beam you're probably wondering about, I've got a rail mounted on here, and you'll see later in the week it's a setup for a little Grandberg mini mill to use my chainsaw to cut lumber. So I needed a nice good straight 10-foot piece though, so I brought one from home, and I've already got the rail attached, so be ready to go to work one day. Now, still 1 mile to go, but 6:15, we got plenty of time. I'm just enjoying the trek into the cabin. I had to pull one load through this soft spot at a time. It was just too much work to pull 2 tracks through here, and even with the one, I got to this far with the first load, and I was bent over sucking wind on my knees and looking down, and what do I see but morel mushrooms everywhere. There's one right here below my feet, and they're all over out here. Always nice not to see any extra holes. No bears. It's always nice not to see any damage. I don't have to worry about human vandalism, but more worried about the bears coming out of hibernation and looking around for something to eat. I'll go over and see if we can get this refrigerator, propane refrigerator, fired up and get things cooling down. That's always a little iffy thing, and I'm relieved when it lights. We have fire. I know there's going to be some questions about my homemade cart, so there's an older video where I reviewed some, but there's some details I didn't really get to in that, so I had some questions, so I'll do my best to give a real quick rundown of how this cart was made. Gray jays are coming in, I have to excuse them. First, I made this cart explicitly for my use. As far as my width, I made it so that my cooler would fit right in there. I wanted to be able to pull a heavy load, and so I made it long enough to put several items on, propane tanks, etc. The bike is made using 2 BMX style bicycles. That's with the 20-inch wheels, and the nice sturdy frame worked out very well. strongest part of a bicycle frame, where a lot of the strength is what's called the bottom bracket. This is where normally your cranks would be, but I took that out and then I put a solid piece of oak across through that hole and anchored it here, and that really gave a lot of strength to the middle of the bike to hold them together. I also anchored this good heavy piece across here that's bolted through the frame. That way it holds it together tighter on the front end. I added another metal brace that's bolted between the bicycles below that bottom bracket. And then off of the back axles, those were some extending foot pegs for a bicycle like that I just put back into the wheel axles. Then I secured this metal frame to it that the plywood sits on to extend my platform so I can carry more. The steering mechanism is probably where I get most of my questions about how that works. And what I did is I just took out the handlebars. This is the clamp that held the handlebar in place. And I replaced the handlebar with a 1/2-inch piece of pipe which fit in there snugly. And then I have a 90-degree elbow, and that's what allows the bicycle to, it just flexes on that. And I just added other 6-inch piece of pipe coming out this way. And then I have my long wood extensions are anchored to that, so I can raise it up and down, but it turns very nicely. The front of the pull part, these are bolted loosely together so they will pivot like this. It was important that these two side pieces are parallel, so whenever you turn, the bicycle turns very nicely. And as Johnny Cash said in his song, "One piece at a time," for the price of this cart, that'd be negatory. You might say I just went to the junk pile and picked it up myself. It's cheaper that way. Just when I think I have everything figured out, I'm going to sit here and talk about how the Gray Jays wouldn't be around for a while because they're too busy raising their young right now, but I already got around here and everybody's happy again. That was quite the surprise. I'm going to make a note to myself about pulling in two carts like that. Never do it again. Spread the joy out over a couple days. Nice to have it done, but bottom line, it wasn't worth the extra effort.